I'm not sure who their captain is. Probably Logan Fillar in the absence of Luke Bowster. The New Zealand team: Otis McKenzie, Fraser Smith-Rice, Nicholas Jones. You can see the infographic there. The New Zealanders lost today 2-0 to the Australian team. It was a very close game. The second goal was a penalty goal by the referees after a sustained pressure from the Australians and their mid-court dominance. But certainly a very close game. The US had 2 losses so far, but they've only conceded 8 goals, and it may be really important later on when the seedings come through for the quarterfinals. Number of prisons, 5 minutes each. New Zealand has actually had, I think they only had 1 minute, maybe 0 minutes before the start of the game against Australia, when both teams racked up much more penalty minutes than they'd had in the previous day. You can see 6 minutes of total time there from 5 offences. I think Harry Brosling's currently carrying the can for the most minutes in the bin. Sorry, where was I? Nick Jones, the vice-captain, number 4. Sam Pavia-Smith. Callum DeVos. Mitchell Thomas back to captain. Harrison Brosling, Nathan Marshall, Ryan Locke. I just saw Nathan's dad up in the stand, and his mum, and Thomas Ramsbottom, number 13. See the New Zealand formation lined up across the pool there. With that wing sitting wide. Currently Harry's got that spot. They'll be looking to slide that puck out to him kind of at a 90-degree angle, and he'll hit it at absolute top speed if they get it right and go screaming into the Americans' goal. No? Well, switcho reverso move. The Americans are onto it though. Now the New Zealanders have look to move it wide once they've committed enough Americans to that kind of wall area. They're away from the American subbing bench, so it is genuinely 6-on-6. The refs have called something. The commentary box is a good 20 or 30 metres away from the court that this game is being played in, so I can sometimes see what the refs are calling and sometimes not. But it is advantage to America. The Americans taking an opportunity to sub 1 out. Probably should have gone a bit sooner there, fella. And the refs have restarted the game. See the far wall, the video quality, and a little bit, the water quality here has actually been pretty good. It's nice playing in an indoor pool. But the speed of these games and day 2, end of day 2 now, getting towards the end of day 2, the water quality is not quite as good as it was on day 1. See the nice wide angle there, the American formation lined up. Much like the New Zealand formation, they look like they're going to try and use some space, but the New Zealanders have sort of steered them into that corner where they probably don't really want to be. But I think New Zealand will be happy to steer them in that direction. See the Americans attacking hard. Not sure who that was in the middle there, spinning around in circles, but certainly working very hard to keep control of the puck for their team successfully. The American offside back there, having to cover to cover the wall. So the Americans, with not a lot of wide cover just at the moment, if the New Zealanders can take the puck off the wall quickly. The referees have called advantage puck to America. If we're lucky, the offence will be put up and probably can call the score. The score's still 0-0. That was a free arm by New Zealand, so those of you watching at home that aren't already massive underwater hockey aficionados, you can't use your free arm to push people off. It's technically a non-contact sport, although you can see there's a lot of incidental contact. You see New Zealand driving very hard there, but the refs are calling them up for, it has to be against New Zealand, surely, with that momentum. Certainly the ref is pushing them back. They're saying that they use their glove there. So one of the other rules, apart from you can't use your free arm to push people off, is that you only have to touch the puck with your stick. And obviously in a fast-paced sort of game like this, it's a pretty low margin for error there, and so you can accidentally whack someone else's glove or some other part of the, usually it's almost always your glove, accidentally advance the puck or get some advantage out of that without using strictly just your stick. And watch the New Zealanders take that wide, out to their wing. Textbook example. Lost in the bubbles, but the New Zealanders look strong and flat and hard on the bottom and just behind the ref there. It looks like the puck's going to go in the goal. Coming up. There's a flag in my way. I can't see what the refs are calling, but the chief ref has just agreed that's a goal, so that's the first goal for New Zealand. 10.5 minutes to go in the first half. Caleb DeVos, member of the Otautahi Christchurch Club in New Zealand. I believe he's studying to be an engineer, or maybe just finishing studying to be an engineer. Number 7. I've seen the aerial shot there. Looked like the New Zealanders might have marginally won that. Shifted it to the right. And they're looking to prosecute their right-hand side. It's come off the wall. It looks like the New Zealanders now, no, the refs have called something. They're trying to bring it down more at a centre channel, but the refs have said that they've used the stick infringement. So again, they're only able to touch the puck with their stick. And that means when you're going to tackle someone, you've got to just touch the puck. And you can sometimes miss and get their glove, or you can whack their stick. You're not allowed to whack their stick. It's got to be all puck. First point of contact is the puck. Enormous amounts of noise coming from the other game. The Turks, under-19 men's Turks, are playing the British under-19 men's, and they're 1-0 up, and the parents and family and grandmas and granddads are up in the stand letting them know. I think there's more Turkish flags than there are actual Turkish people in the stand currently. Back to the New Zealand-American game. New Zealand is racking up a big number of little incidental fouls here, but they can add up after a while. Nick Healy, who's the coach of the New Zealand team, long-term member of the New Zealand men's team as well, has called a timeout. So he's the guy in the green cap that's just come into the field. Confusingly, the cameraman has also got a green hat on. But the cool little floating camera thing they've got there, they've got a big light bulb shaped camera. Is getting that shot right now. You can see into the New Zealand formation. Nick there in the green hat. And the cameraman giving us a sort of close-up of what's going on there. Sometimes we'll be getting audio into the team talks, but I'm not catching it if you guys are. Each team in underwater hockey is allowed 1 timeout per team per half in a full-on competition like this. So, 8 minutes to go, 8 minutes and a half to go. New Zealand's used up one of its timeouts. New Zealand attempting to stymie the Americans' exit from their third. I think they managed to knock that down nicely. You watch the New Zealand winger hard and flat on the bottom. And New Zealanders swung that in unopposed, but it's not a goal. The refs have called that back. And that's probably why he got in unopposed, is because the Americans had the buzzer go and they went out. Because they did not need to do it. Americans taking an opportunity to take a couple of subs. They're not very quick subbers. They did wait around on the surface for a bit and then go. So completely fully staffed when the puck goes back into play with the refs. Watch the New Zealand winger taking it wide. That's number 13. Up to number 5. Textbook display of using that formation the way it's supposed to go. Recycling the puck back into the middle of the New Zealand formation, but the Americans are wise to it. They put 2 guys right there in the middle of us. Thomas Ramsbottom there with a very strong swing with the pass off to, kind of be number 9. That's Mitchell Thomas Beck there getting monstered by 3 Americans at once. Thomas Ramsbottom again No, the refs have called something. They're saying again against New Zealand, and it's an illegal knockdown. So very similar to that stick rule I was explaining. You can only knock the puck down with your stick. So if the Americans come through and flick it, the only thing you're allowed to do to knock it down is to touch it with a stick. It's very easy to touch it with a glove because that's the reflex, to put your hand up in front of it and catch it kind of with the handle of your stick, but that's your glove as well. So that's probably what happened there. Sometimes people will knock it down with their fingertip or something annoying like that. But usually when it's done by mistake, it's just, you just missed by a couple of inches. Oh, the New Zealand team's driven in off that narrow angle. The referees are saying no goal. That is not a goal. America live to breathe again. Americans taking the opportunity to sub everybody. 4 in and 4 out, I believe. They certainly subbed a lot of guys in before they subbed those guys out. Again, puck is live again. Harry Brosnan with a strong swim up the middle. Strong turns, put it back onto his forward sticks. Exactly as he's been trained to do by Nick Healy and Emma Ray, I'm sure. New Zealand hold controlling the puck in the middle, right in front of the American goal. That puck is in the goal. The Americans have all gone up and the refs agree that is a goal. Yeah, I think the water quality definitely has deteriorated since this morning. It is pretty fuzzy, and it's not the feed. There's Nathan Marshall, my namesake Nathan Marshall, has scored the goal for New Zealand. No relation. You can see in the feed a nice crystal clear shot above the water towards the chief ref there, but just a bit fuzzy in the water, and so that's got to be just the water quality now, I think. New Zealand taking it out to that right wall after winning the strike quite convincingly. The Americans are putting a lot of bodies on the bottom, and you can see that American facing backwards just to stymie the New Zealanders' ability to use the width of their formation. Now he's going to sit in that pocket and just burgle, disrupt anything that comes through. Referees have called a stop to the play, and they are sending someone out. I think it's number 3 for New Zealand. Sorry, folks, my aging middle-aged eyesight is not good enough to tell you what cap number that is yet. It's Calum DeVos, number 7, and he's got 2 minutes. It's a huge turn again. Rams bottom again, but that's quite a skill set. 2 New Zealanders taking the opportunity there to sub as they go past this sub bench. Oh, this could be dangerous. 2 fresh New Zealanders in. If the guy looks left there, it is made very good ground. No, the refs have called something again. Yeah, I'm not hearing the buzzer going off very much. The Turks crowd is huge. I think it's good 200 or 300 people up there cheering on their boys. Score update from that quarter is 2-0 with seconds left on the first half. And the Turks are making sure that everyone hears that. Everyone knows exactly who they're supporting. Play churning on the far court there. You see the blue tee from the swimming markings on the bottom. That's about 20 centimetres away from the wall, which is a clear perspex. That's where you can kind of see through it. And then on the far side of that is the hard pool wall. Gives a kind of corridor where the refs and the refs coaches. So the refs sometimes have coaches in the water to give them feedback on their level. The referees very professional here, attempting to do the best job that they can. Multilingual, multinational team. I've met refs, so I'm staying in the same hotel as the refs. Colombians, Argentinians, Australians, New Zealanders, Frenchmen. A Polish guy. I had breakfast with a Polish guy today. He was giving us top tips and places to go visit in Poland, underwater hockey or not. 2 minutes, 10 seconds to go. Finally an advantage puck to New Zealand. They really have worked up the refs. They've thrown the puck straight up the middle. The Americans may have diffused that by taking it sideways, which is of course the right thing to do, but the puck has come out the middle. It's on the 3 metre circle, more or less on the side of the New Zealand point. If they're throwing that straight at the goal, and the back door has been firmly closed by the New Zealand left winger, his job is to make sure that puck does not get swung across the tin out towards the that was this morning, American goal, and quite successfully made sure that the American, in desperation because that front door was so firmly shut, was not able to escape. So American did everything he possibly could have done there quite valiantly to save that, but unfortunately New Zealand was all over him and he had zero room to manoeuvre. It's number 10, Harry Brosnan. Well done, Harry. Did your job there beautifully. The Americans have called timeout. 3-0. 1 minute 20 to go. So, I mean, certainly you'd want to use up your timeout at some point. Just settle down the guys. Focus for that last minute and 20. Maybe see if you can get a goal, or at least don't concede another one just before half time, which is always heartbreaking. I'd say Harry Brosnan's done a fair bit with that manoeuvre to atone for his sin bin in the last game. 2 sin bins in the last game. Although he's probably going to say it was mistaken identity. It wasn't him. Game restarts. 1 minute 5 on the clock. Last chance for New Zealand to put that heartbreaking goal, and the refs have stopped the play. It's New Zealand again being pushed back. Calum DeVos has already spent 2 minutes in the sin bin. The preponderance of fouls being called against New Zealand is, it could be two things going on here. It could be that they are in fact committing more fouls, and the Americans are much cleaner. And it could also just be that there's fouls being committed on both sides, in a similar kind of frequency, but New Zealand's getting the biggest amount of forward kind of thrusts off that, and so the refs are playing advantage, and then New Zealand moves it forward. The refs stop the game, give it back to America. And the Americans committed a foul. Maybe that doesn't turn into advantage for them, and so it's invisible to us as spectators. The refs know what's happening, but we're unable to tell that they've been playing advantage from where I'm sitting. You can see the hand signal for advantage, but I just can't see when they're doing it. Referee just shaving the block there. That's time, so that's not going to be a goal. The refs are saying that's not a goal. Chief ref saying that's time, and we're into the 3 minute half time phase. So 3 minutes between halves. We're going to go for a referee's timeout. Actually, the refs have. We're going to have a chat about that. The chief ref's involved as well. We've got a great camera angle of it. So I think the chief ref's he's intimating that the buzzer he's got isn't working, perhaps, but he's saying that I think, just from his body language, I think he's trying to say that the goal was definitely scored after he was told by the timekeeper that the half had finished. So no goal. That's what he's signalling there. This kind of wave off sign is a no goal sign. And reiterating it's still half time. Both the teams completely ignoring all that, of course, because they're having a halftime talk with the coaches. So looks like Sam Pav Smith in the sub bin. Sorry, not sub bin. It's in the sub out area. Could be number 11 Nathan Marshall, number 4 Nick Jones, the vice captain, and I think it's no, that's number 11. Already counted him already. Number 5 Sam Pav Smith I've already seen. Oh, and number 13 Thomas Ramsbottom is they're starting in the sub bench for New Zealand. The American sub bench, I think I can see Emmett Brader, Leo Levy. I think that's number 5 Ezra Leman, if you take the Irish pronunciation. And I can't see the other guy's head, sorry. Oh, no, he's just turning. I think it might, oh no, Leo Levy. It's certainly a double number, so it's probably Patrick Lowe. I think it's really time to go see the optometrist and get home. Refs are signalling that they're ready to start. And the clock timer in the top left-hand corner, which is very tiny, but it's 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, they didn't start on the clock, but they're off now. Looks like the Americans, oh, there's a delay there. It looks like the Americans won that strike. There's a little glitch in the feed there, but I'm pretty sure the Americans comfortably won that one. See number 8 there, Kyle Lynn, a strong turn. That's a great bit of work there from Mitchell Thomas Beck, just opening up this American formation, putting it under the front of his forward stick, moving forward very quickly. The front door has been shut very hard, and I think the puck is in the goal. Looking out the window at the refs, they're saying no goal. They're saying that the New Zealanders used their glove to put that in, and there's no goal awarded. My usual partner in crime the last day has been Ben Richards. Unfortunately, he's actually doing something useful and he's chief ref in the game right in front of him. The Americans attempting to manoeuvre the New Zealand formation around, but the refs have stopped the game. Feel some kinship with some of the American backs there, turning around and finding themselves pretty isolated and completely surrounded by New Zealanders. Last year, the New Zealand Masters team played the New Zealand men's team in Kuala Lumpur, and they beat us 17-0. A couple of guys, Mitchell Thomas Beck was in that team. You can see the back door being closed there by New Zealand, but the Americans have taken it out the front door, and the refs have called gloving, but this time against America. Looks like the New Zealand captain was signalling horns there, so the New Zealanders are going to set up a formation where they run 5 guys at the goal. Unless I've misseen intention there. No, they put the puck in the middle of the 5 guys and run straight at the goal. Oh, great control of the puck just there for a second, and then he lost it. So then he put the puck back in the middle. Oh, patience there by Mitchell Thomas Beck, but he's being burgled. New Zealand advancing through the middle of the American formation. The Americans attempting to defuse that by taking it sideways out to their right wall. New Zealand successfully recycling that to number 4, Nick Jones. He's a fabulous player. I played with him in Wellington a month or so ago. He's dyed his hair like leopard spots. He's not a big dude, but he's strong and he's very, very skillful. He's turned that round. He's put it on his forward stick. They've taken it straight in the undefended corner of the front door, but the refs are saying that's not a goal. We'll see in a second what the foul that's been called is. That's gloving again. And it's tough coming in that right-hand side because if you're a right-hander, obviously the glove is closest to the wall. The puck can bounce off that way, and you can accidentally, bang it with your glove. The Americans are not going to be too upset about being where they are. They've got that sub-bench advantage. You can see their feet just off the right-hand side, just out of the shot. That's their sub-bench. So they've got 10 players at the moment. So they can wear down the New Zealand 6. Get ready, launch a brutal attack out of there with some fresh legs and score at the other end. Happens all the time. American hasn't quite realised that well, there he is. He's realised the refs have stopped the game there. They're calling again against New Zealand. Another stick infringement. 10 minutes to go. This is where, if there's any difference in the fitness of the teams, it'll start to show up about now. Americans lost sight of it, I think. Just slid out into his blind spot and he couldn't find it. New Zealand has gotten around the outside of the American formation and is attempting to take it in that right-hand door. The Americans desperately scrambling for defense there. Number 8, Kyle Lynn, I think, got down hard on the bottom there and saved his team. The refs have pulled something up there again. An illegal stop against New Zealand again. Number 12, Leo Levy getting down nice and early. Number 4, Daniel Ben in there to support. Zayed Christie flat and hard on the bottom. Love your technique, love your hat number. The New Zealanders dummied through the cover defence, but he's lost it to the American goalie there with some fantastic stick skills. Very good tight control there. I'm sure that was number 10, Toby Lee. No look underhand pass from New Zealander to another, but the Americans have cleaned it up, taking good advantage, but unfortunately the Americans swung that forward, done a sort of a half flick pass to no one, which turned out to be one of the New Zealanders, and New Zealanders escaped out that right-hand door. Number 4, Nick Jones. Again, fantastic control of the puck. 7, Caleb DeVos. Nick Jones in there still. One of the New Zealanders is going to drive that goal right behind that ref's shoulder. But I think the refs are calling up. No, they're saying that's a goal. One of the refs is signalling goal. One of them is saying maybe not. And they've called a ref's timeout. So the ref's timeout was that 2 hands above their head touching the fingertips and then coming down to touch their shoulders. If one of their hands goes out in one direction after they touch their fingers above their head, that's saying that it's timeout being called by one of the teams. But in this case, the double shoulder touch tells you that it's the referees themselves deciding to call timeout. And they've gone off to talk to the chief referee. Who saw what first? Which infringement occurred first? Are we playing advantage? Are we going to give the goal to New Zealand? Or are we going to say that there's an illegal knockdown as one of the things being discussed? No goal, but advantage against America. So what must have happened there is that the Americans knocked it down with something that wasn't their stick. But in the process of scoring the goal after that, New Zealand must have done something else. Otherwise, they would have played advantage into the goal. So New Zealand's committed a foul after America, and they've come out with the puck. So that should be 5 metres off the wall. New Zealand is packing the bottom of the pool with lots of guys. They'll put someone right in the middle of the American back line, which is going to really annoy them. And that puck has gone in the goal, I think. And the referees agree that is a goal this time. there was, I think, probably 10 bodies on the bottom there, and the New Zealanders have managed to put it up to their first line of attack from the initial person taking it up. Good flick up. There'll be a slide pass that's gone under an American, and then New Zealand's got a little hobbit burglar sitting in the goal amongst the American backs, and I think that they've probably gotten a piece of that on the way through and slid it in the goal. It seems like a likely explanation, but frankly, I'm making all that up because I can't see anything. (3-0) now to New Zealand. 7 minutes to go. 4-0 now. Sorry, what am I doing? I'm watching this game and I can't remember the scores. Nathan Marshall's been given credit for that one. There's somebody with our name can score goals because I certainly can't. I'm getting a great view there of the American sub bench. Refs are calling something. I'm going to call this game out the window now. That's a chopping foul just to annoy Jeff Copeland when he wakes up tomorrow morning and watches this in New Zealand, which means someone's used their stick to tackle someone, but they haven't tackled the puck. They've tackled their arm or their stick or their glove, but advantage to New Zealand. And New Zealand's called timeout. They're going to use their timeout with 6 minutes to go. The assistant coach for New Zealand is Emma Ray, who's one of the best underwater hockey players in New Zealand. Coached the New Zealand men's team last year to a gold medal in Kuala Lumpur in the Intercontinental. Very close final game I got to watch. The Australians and New Zealand went to extra time in both the men's and the women's final. The women's final broke the world record for the longest underwater hockey game ever played in terms of a competitive game. It was in 70-something minutes, I believe. It went on for age, and then to top it off, after the men's team had to go back and warm up 3 times because the women's game was going far beyond anything that anyone had ever seen before, the men's team then took it to extra time as well. The refs have called, one of the event cameramen is standing right between me and the ref. They call it an equal puck. I've seen more equal pucks today than I've seen in years. I guess they decided everybody fouled everybody at the same time. And we'll cut back to the American sub bench. Number 7, Caleb DeVos there with some exquisite puck control and tight manner with the Americans, tightly marking him. He's still managed to get out. The Americans are all over him, and he's managed to come out there. Now the New Zealanders attacking the far corner of that goal. Refs are saying that is a goal. I believe they're saying that's number 10, which is Harry Brosnan. Well done, Harry. And so after that very tight middle of the court, it's probably about 8 metres out where there are enormous numbers of bodies on the bottom. New Zealand have just squeezed around the left-hand side of the American formation and swum it in the goal. (5-0), 5 minutes to go. New Zealanders win the strike, take it right. Unfortunately, the connection there between Nick Jones and, sorry, I've forgotten who number 11 is, just didn't quite work. But they've recovered it very well. So it's Nathan Marshall. Really should remember that one. Looks like the New Zealand wingers have taken that round the outside. It's almost an action replay of that last goal, but without the initial... No, the refs are saying that's not a goal. Looking out the window, they're saying that's a stick infringement, or as the Australians will call it, chopping. And New Zealand is not getting to that goal. America's going to start with control of the puck. Starting with one of their forwards facing directly backwards and one facing forwards. Obviously trying to make the most of both worlds there in terms of, and it's put it straight into the blind spot. Unfortunately, number 13 for America, he was in the right spot. He was doing the right stuff. Patrick Lowe, and the puck just went straight under his waistline and into a blind spot. He couldn't see it. New Zealand is driving that goal again. So Nick Jones there just patrolling that open lane. It's a fine line playing that offside wing position in the New Zealand formation. It's you are responsible for making sure that back door is closed, but you're also responsible for saving the entire team if it all turns to custard. And so you have to do a lot of work, and you have to think very clearly about what's going on and adjust yourself accordingly. It's a very deeply offensive and defensive position, and it can switch on a dime if we're going to use an American analogy. They've slid that in the goal. That's a very nice underhand pass there. I think Nick Jones might have put that in. 2.5 minutes to go, and the refs have awarded that. That is a goal to New Zealand. And it was Nick Jones. That was a very low, hard, kind of like a frisbee pass. And he didn't flick it up and over them. He sort of slid it, maybe a centimetre or two above like a frisbee, straight into the goal from about 2 metres out, I think. Okay. That connection worked a lot better between the New Zealand winger and aggressively prosecuting any weakness in the American formation, and then once they feel like they've engaged enough, the Americans on that wall under their own sub-bench, they'll look to take it wide, 90-degree wide. Refs have called up number 5. I think I won the goal. I think I completely missed that. I think New Zealand has just scored. 6-0, yes. I didn't see how that went with all the bubbles. I'm sorry, folks. Not sure who scored that. I think the refs were saying number 5. I'd assumed that number 5 was being signalled because someone was going to the sin bin there. But I think that means they've given the goal to Sam Pav Smith. Nick Jones using an underhand pass there to try and get to his forward. I'm not sure how successful that was with the camera angle. Fraser Smith-Rice. Mitchell Thomas back out to his outside winger. Again, successfully around the outside of the American formation. And then back around to the other side of the American formation. Lots of New Zealanders on the bottom. And I think quite a few American fin tips sticking down there. The refs are saying that is a goal. I can't see how many fingers they're holding up for that one, so hopefully that'll come up in the infographic. There's 1 minute to go. Now there is a chance here for America to come back and score one at the death. Nick Jones given that one. There's just enough time for America to come back. If they hit this hard, smash straight through the middle of the New Zealanders. Just a little bit around this side. Oh, the goal has been given to Sam Pav Smith. Maybe they're catching up on that last one. Okay, the New Zealanders have won it. They put the puck out. The camera glitched just as that puck went out. I'm not sure if it slid under. The refs were a little concerned about there's some gap under the goal, under the wall, but I'm sure they fixed that by now. The clock has stopped in the last 2 minutes, so I know not a hockey in a serious game. When there is a stoppage in play in the last 2 minutes, they do stop the clock. New Zealand looking to manoeuvre around some great spaghetti arms kind of process there. Hard on defense, American. You can see them scrambling to the bottom, trying to get their body position sorted out to desperately stop the New Zealanders in the last second. That is time. There's going to be a ref's timeout. I think the puck may have gone in the goal there at the last second. I think the refs are going to want to go and have a chat and disentangle, whether it went in first or it went in after the buzzer. So you can see them consulting there with the chief referee. They're thinking that's a penalty goal. So what's happened there is somewhere in that huge cloud of Americans desperately trying to defend their goal, someone's done something that is almost certainly prevented a goal being scored by New Zealand. So the referees have decided to award, just at the death there, a penalty goal, and it's going to make it 8-0. No New Zealander will get credit for that goal, but it'll go on the team sheet as, I guess the refs get it. All right, that's it for me. Matt Marshall from the Sydney Underwater Hockey Club. America worked very, very hard there for periods of time. They looked dominant in the mid-court. They really did look like they had a plan and they were controlling. And unfortunately, just they lost the puck to the New Zealanders a few times, just at critical moments where they're probably desperately unlucky that they didn't really test that last person in the New Zealand formation. And the New Zealanders, their wingers linking up, swimming around the outside of the American formation, linking up with their very fast-moving forwards. They're big, strong guys, these guys. Punched in a few quick goals, and I think that the difference was apparent there in the score at 9-0. But certainly the Americans got a lot to take from that game in terms of it. There's still a long way to go. We're on day 2. I know the American teams sometimes start a little slowly, but they get better and better through the week. Players there, just coaches graciously thanking the refs for their hard work. And I will stop rabbiting on. I hope you guys back in New Zealand enjoy the commentary tomorrow morning, and good night to America.